Unveiling Strong Delusion, Video 17, Cathar, the Kabbalah, and the Sefirot. The Cathar. Modern scholars refer to the Cathar as a heretical Christian sect of the Middle Ages. This video will show the Cathar represent the crown of a mystical system of thought called the Sefirot, or the emanations of the Ein Sof. The Cathar Kabbalah and Sefirot. The Cathar system of thought involves many things most people did not learn in school, including the Kabbalah and the Sefirot. The Kabbalah and the Sefirot form a major part of modern Jewish mystical thought. Scholars believe the Kabbalah and the Sefirot developed as a part of Judaism. Islam and Christianity have their own practitioners of their own versions of the Kabbalah. The Kabbalah and Sefirot predate rabbinical Judaism. Originally, they had no connection to Judaism. The rabbinical Judaism of today came into existence around the 16th century AD as part of the Strong Delusion. Eventually, the videos will get to the 16th century. The Sefirot. The Sefirot represents the attributes or emanations of the infinite, or the Ein Sof. That, of course, makes no sense to people who have not spent years studying the Kabbalah. The Sefirot refers to an aid in a way of thought that people study for years to master. Scholars have depicted the Sefirot as a diagram showing paths in life. A diagram of Sefirot. This diagram shows one example of how people have tried to represent complex mystical concepts. Look at the very top circle with the word Keter in it. Keter, crown, will, or I, or nothingness. Ayin means I in Hebrew. Strong's Hebrew Concordance 5869. Strong's Hebrew Concordance 3804 transliterates the Hebrew letters for Keter into the English K-E-T-H-E-R, Cathar, with a T-H. Many languages do not have the T-H sound, such as Romance languages, except Castilian. Cathar means Keter. Cathar and Keter have the exact same consonantal sounds, K-T-H-R or K-T-R. The Cathar lived in the same location where people not just studied the Sefirot, but created it. The Catholic Church sought out and massacred the Cathar or Keter, the crown of the Sephardi. Azriel of Gerona. Scholars tell us Azriel of Gerona, 1160 to 1238, first used the term Ein Sof or Ein Sof. Azriel will appear again in the next video when the series identifies the religious identities of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob or Israel. Sefirot and Sephardic Jews. Jews living in medieval Spain and France called themselves the Sephardi or Sephardim. The name derives from the Sefirot or vice versa. Cathar, Perfecti, and study. The Cathars had a hierarchy. Both men and women could study and become parfait or perfetti or Cathar or Cathar. As with students of the Kabbalah, men and women studied for years to become perfetti. The Wise of Provence. The scholars in the area gained such reputations across Europe, they became known as Chachmei Provence, or the Wise of Provence. See Strong's Hebrew Concordance 2449 to 2553. Haw Theological Word Book of the Old Testament 647. Men and women. Jews and Cathar in southern France. To speak of Cathar in medieval France requires speaking of the Jews for several reasons. Both groups enjoyed considerable freedom of thought and practice before about the 13th century. Both groups enjoyed financial prosperity. Both lived in the same places. Cathar and Persia. Scholars tell us the Cathar may have originated in Persia or the Byzantine Empire. Persia means France under the Strong Delusion. Anatoly Fomenko has written extensively on the identification of France and Persia, as well as White Russians and Persia. See History, Science, or Fiction, Volume 1, pages 314 to 15. Viewers can find his works online for free. Persia, France, and White Russians. Anatoly Fomenko linked Persia with its PRS consonants to France and Paris with its PRS consonants. Fomenko also linked the White Russians and Prussians to Persia with the PRS consonants. When the video series reaches Milka, It will link Jethro to Slavic-speaking peoples and connect him with his French or Frank son-in-law, Moses. Persia and France. Cathar communities thrived across Persia or southern France in the Middle Ages. These included communities such as Béziers, Carcassonne, Lunel, Montpellier, Narbonne, Nîmes, Pamiers, Posquier, Vauvert today, and Toulouse. Jews in Persia. Jews also lived in Béziers, Carcassonne, Lunel, Montpellier, Narbonne, Nîmes, Pamiers, Posquier, and Toulouse. Map of the Cathar area. Much of the Old Testament occurred in this area, and much of the New Testament also. Carcassonne Castle, one of the many spectacular Cathar castles visited by millions of tourists every year. Dante Alighieri and the Cathars. Dante Alighieri from the Luca Signorelli fresco. Dante and the Cathar. Dante sympathized with the Cathars and secretly wrote about them in his works. Maria Sorrentina shows this in her book Libertà va cercando, il catarismo nella commedia di Dante. Maria Sorrentina argues Dante's Commedia shows the path of a Cathar to the right of the Consolamentum. She discusses her works on the Chambre d'Oc YouTube channel. Lunel, France, and the moon. Lunel, France played a major role in what today we call Jewish thought. Lunel refers to the moon, as seen in the French word for moon, lune, and in the English, lunar. The linguistics change from the L sound in the last letter to the R sound gives us lunar. Ya-re-ach, moon. Scholars tell us Yarek means moon in Hebrew, and today Hebrew speakers use it for moon. Strong's Hebrew Concordance 3394. Ya-re-ach, more or less. Ach, as in the German, Ach du lieber, short for Ach du lieber Himmel. Scholars translate Ach du lieber Himmel to mean, O heavens. Liber, Dionysus. Rather than O heavens, Ach du lieber Himmel may refer to Liber or Liber Pater, a Roman god of wine, fertility, and liberty. The god Liber became associated with Bacchus or Dionysus. Ach du lieber could have meant brother of Liber or brother of Dionysus. It might still mean that to some. Brother of the moon and sun. Ya-re-ach, broken into 3 syllables, gives 3 words. Ya for the moon, Re for the sun, as in the Egyptian god Ra, or in Radio, the sun god. Ach for brother in Hebrew, Strong's Hebrew Concordance 251, brother of the moon and sun, or snake of the moon and sun. Ra, the sun, and Ra meaning evil. Ra refers to the Egyptian sun god. Judaism centers around the moon. In Hebrew, the word Ra translates as evil or adversity, or perhaps adversary. Strong's Hebrew Concordance 7451, 7451a, 7451b. Noah, the new moon. Strong's Hebrew Concordance 5146 defines Noah to mean rest and refers to him as the patriarch who survived the flood. The suffix "ah" refers to the moon and to the left eye of Horus. See Ralph Ellis, Eden in Egypt. The prefix "no" in Indo-European languages indicates new. After the flood, a new moon appeared in the sky, and people studied it at Lunel and other places. Yahweh, moon and sun. Strong's Hebrew Concordance 3068 defines Yahweh to mean the proper name of the God of Israel. Broken into 2 syllables, Yah and Weh, and using the linguistics tools we have seen, Yahweh becomes the moon and the sun. Yah means the moon. The W in Weh becomes an R for Re or Ra, the Egyptian sun god, or evil in Hebrew. Allah, sun and moon. Similarly, Allah, the name for God in Islam, means the sun and the moon. The Al sound read backwards with the L changed back to R reads Ra, or the Egyptian sun god. The ending Ah means the moon. Lunel, France. Lunel, here in the top left in the corner, and Vauvert, right here, which we will come back to in the next video. Moon, Ya-re-ach, Yarchi. Some Jews derive the name Yarchi or Yarchi or Yarchi from this moon study. History books sometimes call Rabbi Shlomo Yitzhaki, Rashi, 1040 to 1105, Yarchi or Yarchi, in reference to the moon. Moon, Ya-re-ach, Yarek. Ya-re-ach sounds very similar to the common Slavic man's first name, Jarek, a diminutive of the name Yaroslav, as in Yaroslav Hasek, the Czech author of the Good Shoulder Shvek. Yaroslav has deep occult meaning for those interested in studying it. Moon and Yarka. The Slavic woman's name Yarka sounds much like Yarchi or Yarki. The ka ending to Yarka may indicate an Egyptian word for soul or life force. The Hebrew word for moon may come from the Egyptian or vice versa. Lunar year and German year. The yar sound for the moon still appears clearly in the German word Jahr, meaning year. The English word year comes from the same word. The Hebrew calendar bases its months on the moon. Sun and moon, off and on, or on and off. A short walk in the Forbidden Garden reveals that the English word on stands for the sun, and the English word off stands for the moon. Modern computers use this binary mathematical system. Scholars tell us the ancient Egyptians used a similar number system. On, Heliopolis, and names. The Egyptians called one of their main cities On, which the Greeks called Heliopolis, or Sun City. On appears in many Western names, such as William's On. Scholars tell us the son means the son of William. We will see the name Williamson again when we arrive at Milka, the mother of Rebecca. Thomas Edison and the light bulb. Off, the moon, and names. Off appears in many Slavic names, such as Velikovsky, Molotov, Sakharov, Karpov, Shostakovich, Smirnov. The interested viewer can find many more. The Czech hockey player Jaroslav Jirkovsky had the moon in the first syllable of his first name and last names, and the off in the last name. The English phrase jerk off derides the moon people. Languedoc and Langue. Historians tell us Languedoc and Langue represent two distinct dialect groups in medieval France. Historians tell us the difference in dialects came in the form of the word for yes. In Languedoc, they said ok or okay, and in the north they said oil, which became today's we. Languages of the eye. Ayin means eye in Hebrew, Strong's Hebrew Concordance 5869. Oil, as in Langue, means eye in French. Occhio, as in Languedoc, means eye in Italian. Cathar, crown, ayin, eye. Keter, ayin, eye, Languedocio, Langue. Right eye of Horus. The eye symbol in the previous slide represents the right eye of Horus, or the sun. The left eye of Horus, called the dark eye, represents the moon. Horus becomes hours in English for the hours of the day kept by the sun and moon. Ein Sof. I see nothing. I know nothing. Ein France. Department number 1 and an orange department. The eye. The Basque and the Cathar. Cathar in Basque means cat, cat. Cathar, from Basque English, English Basque Dictionary by Gorka Aulestia and Linda White. Basque country today. Today the Basque occupy the land marked in red on this map, extending into France. Catalonia, Cat-Alonia. Gulf of Lion. American mountain lion. Thank you for watching. The next video will show the historical religious identities of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. After the videos on Milka, the video on Jacob going to find his wife from the family of Bethuel will identify Jacob's secular role. A later video will identify Abraham's secular role. Permission to copy and translate. The author permits any human being to copy and rebroadcast this video in whole or in part. The author permits any human being to translate this video into any language.